Okay, so this training, OSHA, it's all about safety, occupational health and safety. Even though the OSHA regulations and standards, they are well formed and established, especially for USA, 52 states. But because their standards are excellent and a lot of American brands are also working and operating their businesses in Saudi Arabia, so they also want that OSHA based standards must be respected. So in that scenario, let's start and understand what is OSHA is all about. No doubt, it's a day one. So we will have a deep discussion about OSHA, and I just circulated and divided into seven segments of this introduction. The topic one is, why is OSHA important to you? Why it's important, especially if you are operating in USA, then why it is more important for you, to be very honest. Because all other countries, no doubt, they are not bound to follow OSHA regulations, but in USA, surely you have to give respect. It's a government entity, it's a government admin department, so you can't say no to their regulations. And the second segment, we will discuss about what rights do you have under OSHA. Sometimes we don't know what are our rights. And that's why OSHA is helping for the employees to understand what are their key rights. And also the third question is, what responsibility does your employer have under OSHA? And we all know, whoever is the businessman or the employer we are working for, definitely they must also have some straightforward understanding about their responsibilities. No doubt they are the front leader for their business, so surely they have to respect all the legal, occupational safety and health administration standards and all that. Question number four is, why do the OSHA standards say actually? What do the OSHA standards say? What exactly they are teaching us? And we will definitely discuss a little bit deeper, because that is the key crux of this training. And then number five is, how are OSHA inspections conducted? OSHA, like in Saudi Arabia, we have Baladia, we have Civil Defense, we have PME, we have SASO, we have Minister of Interior, we have Minister of Education, we have TVTC. Plenty of regulatory bodies are there. And all regulatory bodies, what they're doing is, they're coming for inspection to make sure either we are following safety regulations or not. And if we are following, they're happy. If we are not, or we have some violations, they'll put fine, and sometimes businesses are being closed. Same way in USA, OSHA is a strong regulatory body, for occupational safety and health regulations and standards. Same way, we will discuss about where can you go for help, like if any issue you face, like employer is not listening you, or he is not providing some sort of resources as per the nature of your job. So how you can get that particular help? And then this number seven, intentionally I added first time for this training, the list of OSHA regulations. Like we will go through the complete list of OSHA regulations for our deep understanding, what type of OSHA regulations are there, and according to our need, how we can search, find, and follow them, especially to incorporate within our design phases. Either we are constructing a building, a road, or anything, even a ladder, even a scaffolding. Like you name any sort of process or material, or uh, even any process, surely you will find OSHA regulations, in deep guidance actually, as a guiding document. So these seven segments we're gonna discuss inshallah, just as a introduction part. Then of course, few of the things I added based on my experience also, since I'm working for the last 19 years as a QHSC consultant, trainer, auditor, and delivered several projects in different countries. So based on my experience, I generated few of the slides from my side also, just as a additional cause to understand, how we should actually operate our businesses, and as a safety leader, what kind of role model we have to be at our side actually. So inshallah, I'm sure We are going to learn from each other. I'm not a trainer here, I'm a facilitator. So surely we will be learning from each other, inshallah. That's why we will make it interactive.
inshallah.
Since this session is well designed and specially planned and executed just for you, actually, mashallah. So the purpose of OSHA is very straightforward: to provide workers with introductory information about OSHA. That is the purpose of OSHA, to make sure they have clear understanding what are their rights and how things, if anything goes wrong, how they can report, how they can file a complaint, and what is the authority of OSHA for sure. Now, before we discuss topic number one, like why OSHA is important to you, I just want to put your intention on one particular segment. Mr. Shivan, I'm sure you will agree that everything in the world is a process. Whatever we are doing is a process. I repeat again,
I
whatever
listen,
we
I
are
listen.
doing is a process. We are talking
Sorry,
to each other.
everything is awarded eh?
Yeah, yeah. What, whatever we are doing is a process. Whatever we are doing is a process. We are talking, we are driving, we are excavating, we are having some rigging and lifting. It's all process. Even construction is a process. Within construction, plenty of other sub processes, but ultimately all our activities looks like a series of processes. Now, every process in the world, Mr. Shaban, have three phases: before, during, and after. I repeat again, every process in the world have three stages where we truly have to evaluate what safety regulations we surely have to respect and implement before, during, and after of any process. Like if I am gonna tell you, please come to Al Khubar or Damam from Mecca, so it's a traveling process, right? Now, before traveling, what you gonna do?
Yeah.
During the traveling, what things matters a lot, to ensure your safety, and what regulations you need to follow from Saudi government side already implemented. If you are coming by road, how are you going to be respecting traffic regulations during driving? I hope you got the point. Before, during, and after. And once your journey is finished up, like you reached up to Dammam, what things matters a lot within Dammam, what safety regulations you have to respect. So same way, every process in the world have three dimensional or three stages of regulations, which we truly need to know about first of all, and then we need to try to implement and follow. And sometime I say we are bound to follow. We truly need to have responsible mindset, even though creating a responsible mindset is another terrible challenge, especially in Middle East countries. Like making someone responsible. Let me give you an example. If you have chain smokers within your company, just an example, and the top management told Mr. Shaban, tomorrow to onward, we don't want to see even a single person to smoke within our company. And mostly 25% or above are chain
Stop,
smokers.
stop, smoke.
So what they're gonna do? They will quit your job. They'll not quit their smoking because their mind is addicted with the
Make
nicotine, right?
smoke area.
Yeah, go to smoking area for sure. But the top management, what they have given a terrible stress that no smoking at all. That's what the challenge they gave you. You are the
Mm.
safety leader, right? No, what I mean is
Yeah,
for
yeah,
this
right.
particular small segment, I mean, what action you gonna take? If you take an action, no more cigarette will come inside my company. What would be the reaction of those 25%, If you take action,
So what's going to be the staircase?
only smoke one cigarette within 12 hours. If you take even that action, you can only smoke one cigarette within 12
Yeah.
hours. Now, what would be the reaction? If you're gonna say only
Well,
smoke in
I think
designated areas and you have 2 minutes to smoke one cigarette,
okay.
then their reaction could be entirely in a different direction. And you can check your toilets, the dustbins. Whenever they're gonna go to toilet, of course they'll smoke a cigarette and then come back, right? They'll find a way. What I mean is,
Yeah.
changing addicted minds is not an easy job. I can tackle maybe 1000 machines quite easily. But handling 1000 different brains, Mr. Shaban, is one of the most challenging target. And, it's not easy, to be very honest, dealing with human brains. And that is why we are getting artificial intelligence, robotic technology. We are bringing a lot of technological solutions because it's hard to tackle, especially in high hazardous processes. It's really hard to manage those processes through human brains. And that is the reason still accidents we are facing. It's not like the system is not there, it's a mindset. And our employees sometimes they don't want to accept the reality that their safety, their life, first of all, their responsibility. They don't want to accept that factor. What they believe is Mr. Shaban should keep them safe for 24 hours. How come? He can only advise, he can only support. You can only give some motivation, some guidance, some inductions. You can chair some safety meetings, right? You can encourage them to follow safety regulations. You can help them to set up some SOPs or procedures or safety policies and try to implement. Maybe you can implement some verification, some sort of safety signs, or I hope you got the point. What I mean is, you are a supportive department, you are a services department, not a department who gonna ensure that everybody. I mean, you are in your office. How come you can watch everyone? So that is why we need responsible mindset. Responsible mindset. But trust me, Mr. Shaban, it's not easy. But of course, it's not impossible also. So what is the right idea for us? Try. Try our level best and seek Allah's help also. Sometimes people believe safety is a very easy job. No, 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 it's not easy. It's not easy job. Because if I'm a welder, I know I just need to weld. Only one process. But if I'm a safety officer, then I'm dealing to the welders, to the excavators, to the crane operators, to the engineers. I hope you got the point. Every nook and corner, every person of the company, we are dealing with them. Some are falling, some are giving respect, some are considering us their enemies, some are considering us policing, something like that. A terrible mindset, several ways. But we are lucky enough if we get a company where the safety culture is brilliant. We are lucky if we get such company already having a strong safety culture, and we are there just to support and maintain, because ultimately if you have excellent safety culture within your business, within your company, at your project sites even, then only one challenge is sustainability and maintainability. And for that reason, you keep momentum, you keep going on. Every day you are motivating, right? But if a very terrible bad culture is there or no safety culture, such companies is really hard to manage them. But of course, if you are a great safety leader, surely you will accept the challenge and you will try to put your 100% and bring a positive change for sure. That is why sometimes I say you have to be As a safety leader, you have to be emotionally intelligent. You have to be emotionally intelligent. You have to be a great motivator, an effective communicator, a mind changer, a change ambassador, a person who brings change through different techniques. Actually, you have to be diplomatic even. I hope you got the point, because different kind of audience is there. Like if you have, Mr. Shivan, if you have 50 nationalities, imagine 50 different nationalities, and everyone is different, right? Sometimes I say
Yes.
my son is different than me. Sometimes he doesn't agree for so many things, even he's my son. So how are we gonna create a win-win situation, and convincing all 50 nationalities, and they are coming from different background, education level is entirely different. Might be someone is addicted with bad culture from the day one he came on this in this world, and now you are going to change him within 5 days or maybe within one day. Sometimes we overnight try to change everything. Disaster. That is why there is a value of risk assessments and evaluation of your culture, and you bring everything on table, and you put everything in analysis and database and understand first of all. And if you are joining a company as a safety leader, first of all try to understand. Only don't do anything, just understand and create a list, a big list of unsafe facts, list of unsafe conditions, list of good practices, list of bad practices, how many positive minds, how many negative minds as per your analysis. You just work on data, right? To finalize your roadmap for continual improvement or bring some positive change within this company. Otherwise, otherwise you learn about OSHA regulations, you have Saudi Aramco regulations, you have a lot of regulations from Saudi government side, but nothing will work if that mindset is not responsible. I hope you got the point. Sometimes people come to me and they're gonna say, "Sir, my salary is not sufficient. Company is paying me only 4,000 real per month." And the moment I ask him, what positive changes you brought within this company, and then the list is very tiny, by the way. And sometime they have no list at all. If I'm hiring someone and he is claiming I can handle 5,000 different brains, my experience is I was tackling more than 100 different sites as a corporate safety leader, and I know how to manage 5,000 employees. But I can't accept salary below 100,000 riyal, and trust me, you will get it. I repeat again, you will get it. What I mean is the industry is looking for the leaders who can manage more brains. If you are handling only four brains, don't expect 40,000 real per month. But if you are handling 4,000 employees and different sites, then you can claim and you can ask, you can demand even your desired salary for sure. And there would be one topic: what are the real root causes of accidents or incidents? So we'll discuss after discussing all these seven topics. I added, few of the things from my side as I mentioned earlier. So now let's come back to OSHA. Why is OSHA important to you? When it was began, when it began in until 1970, first of all, there was no national law. Not at all. For safety and health hazards. And what was happening? Because no regulation, no standard, no procedures, no policies, nothing. And on average, 15 workers were being died, every day, just because of job injuries. And on the other side, what our Islam says, saving one life, saving the whole humanity, right? And killing one man, killing the whole humanity. So it's one of the best ibadah. If you are a source, if you are a person trying to save lives and giving them some light to educate them every day and making sure they are safe for themselves, for their families, because we are the only heroes for our family, right? So 15 persons, and imagine if those 15 persons are engineers, doctors, or high-tech skill set holders. Imagine how big loss that would be, right? You can take an example of some of the countries like roadside accident. The more the accidents, you never know how many scientists are lost just on the road accident, because of road accident. Doctors, engineers, maybe the future scientists also. Just because defensive driving rules or regulations or traffic regulations were missed and they didn't follow actually. Now, same way, over 50, 5,600 Americans die from workplace injuries annually. Again, it's a huge number. 5,600. But the condition is no regulation was there, no standards, no laws. And over 4 million non-fatal workplace injuries and illnesses are reported. That is why OSHA is important. That is why they created this legal department just for dealing occupational kind of standards and regulations to implement and making sure everyone is following and respecting, especially in America, all the regulations. And time to time they review, they amend, they bring, new and new regulations according to the need, according to the market for sure, or the technology, how it is being evolving. So, history of OSHA, we can just quickly can have an understanding. Like OSHA stands for Occupational Safety and Health Administration, an agency of the US Department of Labor, and responsibility is only workers' safety and health protection. One line responsibility. Workers' health and safety protection. Single objective, single goal. And it's a powerful department, by the way, especially in America. Other countries, they are respecting because their standards are excellent, mashallah. So no harm to follow. Like if we both write a book related to safety best practices, and if it is good, maybe the whole world would be following, if it is good for some reason. Same way, if OSHA regulations are well formed and well established, why not the other countries could also respect and find out a better way to construct, to ensure general safety and keep their people safe, not only people, even the environment, even the assets of the company, you know all four pillars actually. Now, on December 29, 1970, President Nixon, he signed OSHA Act, and this act created OSHA, the agency which formally came into being on April 28, 1971. So from 1971 to onward, they are fully active. That means such a huge experience. Now we are in 2022, right? So more than 50 years experience OSHA is having. So no harm to learn about 50 years experience. Now, what is the mission of OSHA? The mission of OSHA is to save lives, prevent injuries, and the same mission we can create for our company also. If I ask what is the mission of Al-Baptan or what is the mission of any other company, they can create all, save lives, prevent injuries. And our mission is to protect the health of our workers, our all stakeholders, all interested parties. Like OSHA mentioned, all America's workers, right? That is OSHA's mission. Now, some of the things OSHA does to carry out its missions are developing job safety and health standards and enforcing through work site inspections, maintaining a reporting and record keeping system. So, maintaining a reporting and record keeping. That means record is very much important for them, especially to track of job related injuries and illnesses, and also providing training programs to increase knowledge about occupational health and safety. So training is another key objective of OSHA. Now, within our companies, same sort of mission we can create and make sure we are having some sort of objectives or targets or KPIs, key performance indicators, especially we can give to or incorporate for each function of the business. Otherwise, at least the safety department, they must have straightforward KPIs that what they're gonna achieve within 1 year or within next 3 years. What is their HSC plan or safety improvement plan? Now, the topic 2 is of our today's discussion, what rights do you have under OSHA? Now, all American workers, especially, they have straightforward rights like safe and healthy workplace. That is their right. They surely have to be informed about hazardous chemicals, like in shape of material safety data sheets or SDS safety data sheets or TDS technical data sheet. That is their right to inform them, how that chemical could be dangerous and read and understand the MSDS, the labeling requirement and all that. And also informations about injuries and illnesses in your workplace. This is another right of American workers, well defined by OSHA. Complainer requests hazard correction from employer. So you can challenge, you can, bring in the code to your employer also if they are violating safety regulations or OSHA regulations. Training is your right as an American, especially. Hazard exposure and medical record. File a complaint with OSHA. That is your right. Participate in an OSHA inspection. If OSHA inspectors are coming, you can participate. That is your right. Legal rights. Now, if I ask Mr. Shivan to you, do you know your legal rights in Saudi Arabia? Very few, right? Very few. You'll be familiar, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So that is why OSHA, they are trying their level best. First of all, to educate the employees, the workers about their rights. Like training is your right, but have you ever requested by yourself, Mr. Company, Mr. Owner, Mr. Employer, I need these trainings to upgrade my skill set to keep myself well familiar with the latest regulations? You can't even dare sometimes. I know, because it's money, right? They would not be ready to pay such money, and I'm sure for this training probably you paid from your own pocket. I don't know, but that is between you or your employer. Now, has this file complaint, and also you are authorized to participate in OSHA inspection and be free for retaliation for exercising safety and health rights. So no obstructions. You are fully empowered actually. Sometimes I say you are fully empowered to say no if any activity is dangerous or the PPs are not provided or you believe you are not confident enough to carry out this activity. So you have right to say no even. Now, another right is safe and healthful workplace, like the creation of OSHA provided workers the right to a safe and healthy workplace. And there is a section, because as mentioned earlier, the OSH Act was signed, and under Section 5A1, there are different clauses of this OSH Act, but Section 5A1 of the OSH Act states each employer shall furnish to each of his employees employment and a place of employment which are free from recognized hazards that are causing or likely to cause death or serious physical harm to his employees. So again, a legal clause is there for safe and healthful workplace. This is the right of our employees. But again, how many employees are familiar about such rights, especially in Middle East or Asia or Africa? No, there is another right. Know about hazardous chemicals. This is your right. Like if you have 100 different chemicals, employer must have a written complete hazard communication program. We call it HAZCOM also. That includes information like container labeling. You can't use or even accept any of the chemical without label. Even we don't accept, Mr. Shaban. Like if I give you Nestle water but no label, will you accept it?
نعم.
No, not at all,
Except
right?
for what?
So, like it's a drinking water but no label. Like I'm giving you
Ah,
drinking bottle, like Nestle water is there, but no label. Of course, you will not accept it, right? Because you don't know what is inside. Might be inside there is a thinner. Same transparent or clear
I
color,
should know what is this cup.
Absolutely right. Absolutely right. That is why employer is responsible to ensure MSDS are there, worker training is done, and they also make sure the physical and health hazards about those chemicals the workers are well familiar with. That means the work practices and emergency procedures of PPs must be well implemented. That is why within MSDS 16 sections are there, and such a detailed document about one chemical. And if you understand 100 MSDS against 100 chemicals, trust me, you are a chemical engineer within your company. If you understand 16 different MSDS about 100 different chemicals, consider you are a chemical engineer also within the same company, because nothing is hidden from your side. You are well knowledgeable about chemicals, how to manage, how to handle, what hazards are there, what PPs need to be required, and we have to be wearing while dealing with those chemicals. How are we going to tackle if there is a fire incident because of that particular chemical? What type of extinguishing media or extinguisher we need to use? Everything we're going to get there, right? If it is touched to my skin, what first aid measures is also part of MSDS. That is why it's employees' right to get complete informations, especially about hazardous chemicals. And this alarming subject is very much critical, especially in hospitals also. It's not like always the chemical in form of bottles or liquid. Chemical in form of solid, in form of air like gas. Chemical can be in shape of three different domains, like in shape of solid, could be dust or could be solid chemical, and on the other side in liquid shape, and also in shape of gas. And for the gas, sometimes I say it's invisible enemy. It's invisible enemy. Like H2S, hydrogen sulfide gas, is colorless. We can't see with our eyes. So the monster, the terrible monster, the deadly monster, because it's invisible. That means visible chemicals management is still easier. But the real challenge is invisible enemies like H2S, carbon monoxide, ammonia, methane, different gases. Sometimes you are excavating and deeper than 1.2 meter or 4 feet. Now it's a confined space, and you never know You are playing with nature. What is coming outside? Underground, a lot of toxic gases, Even you have geological study, you have plenty of studies, but still you need authorized gas tester to make sure to be fully familiar what sort of gases are there, and accordingly you will map up your safety plan, right? Now, this is another right, information about injuries and illnesses. This is also your right. Like OSHA record keeping rule requires most employers with more than 10 workers to keep a log of injuries and illnesses. The log sheet is very much important. Workers have the right to review the current log as well as the log stored for the past 5 years. Workers also have the right to view the annually posted summary of the injuries and illnesses like OSHA 300A as per. So, very straightforward discussion about the rights of workers. Now, there is another right, complain or request corrections. Workers may bring up safety and health concerns in the workplace to their employers without fear of discharge or discrimination
ممكن
as
تديني
long
بس
as.
can you get me بس 1 minute بس
Yeah,
1 minute بس
it's okay, no
can you
problem.
get me بس 2 minutes sorry Mr. Sheikh.
No, it's okay. Take your time. Okay, we can have 5 minutes break even. No problem.
ماشي